Did you know that eBay is now subsidizing the PSA submission process for collectors? Hey, what's going on, folks? Welcome back to the Parkside Merchant channel. If you're new here, we cover all kinds of exciting topics related to vintage trading cards, especially the Yu-Gi-Oh category. So if you enjoy this sort of content, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to help support our channel. So today's topic is going to be kind of a fun video here. I wanted to basically go through some recent developments related to the Card Saver 1, which is the preferred type of card saver that PSA uses for its submissions. There's been some developments basically that I wanted to talk about, and then basically also wanted to sort of just give you all some insight into some of the different equipment that I use when it comes to PSA submissions and the types of card savers and sleeves and all that sort of stuff that's out there in the market. So it's going to be sort of a bit like a product review here, but also kind of just some other miscellaneous commentary related to these topics. So before we get too deep into things here, maybe just a quick word on our giveaway for today's video. We actually have two cards that will be part of this giveaway. The first is a copy of Insect Queen from the Collector's Tin, number 1. This is the original Insect Queen. Pretty good looking condition here. It's a little off center, but it's otherwise near mint for the most part in terms of overall surface and all that other stuff. So pretty nice looking card here. That's a fun giveaway, right, for number 1. And then number 2, we've got, of course, another copy, first edition, from Magic Ruler of the Jigen Bakudan or Bakudan Detonator. This is a short print from Magic Ruler. This set is generating a lot of buzz. This particular copy is also it's in pretty good shape. So yeah, those are our giveaways here for today's video. In order to enter for the giveaway, all that you have to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then leave a comment down below about what sort of PSA submission infrastructure or products you use when you're thinking about putting together a submission. So let's maybe just start off here with a quick sort of word on this sort of breaking news item, which is kind of the interesting topic for the video, which is these new, basically eBay subsidized card savers, essentially. And what they've done, basically, I guess, is helped to subsidize some of the acquisition cost of these basically Card Saver 1 type products that you have to use for your PSA submissions, which ordinarily, as you could see, the selling price for some of these other ones, right? It's usually somewhere in the neighborhood of like 16 to sometimes 30 or more dollars for a 50 pack of these products. And for those of you that were doing submissions last year, like in the summertime or the early fall, you couldn't buy the Card Saver ones for the most part. They were sold out basically everywhere. So you were often forced to pick the UV block product that we have up there in the upper left, which is very expensive, $35 or so for the 50 count pack, which is pretty high, right? The BCW options were about $25 a pack. I think they still go for about that price. These things, folks, the eBay subsidized option, it only costs $9 for a 50 pack. I'm not sure if they're still available. I bought a bunch of these when they first went up for sale on the PSA website, but that's a deep discount. You know, $9 versus 16 or 17 bucks for the 50 count package. That's a non-trivial difference, especially if you do this sort of stuff at scale and you're sending a whole lot of stuff out to PSA all the time. So I don't know if if you can still buy these things. They may be sold out already, but it is kind of fun, right, that eBay is acknowledging that the trading card market, how fast PSA can churn out submissions essentially, actually has an impact on their revenue when it comes to the trading card market and trading card sales. So anything that they can do to sort of lower the barrier of entry for collectors to just send stuff out to PSA will probably make a difference for eBay in terms of the total transaction volume that they see from the trading card categories like sports cards and Pokemon and all that sort of stuff. So What I will say too is, well, a couple things actually. So it does say that it's $9 for the 50 count package. Obviously with PSA, because that's who was selling these, is PSA. There's a lot of shipping and handling charges, so it did cost quite a bit of money actually to ship it, but it still turns out to be a lot less, I think, than basically all these other options that you see on the table here, like the Card Saver 1 and some of these other alternatives that are out there in the market. So actually, a quick thought, when I first got into the graded cards, right, and started sending submissions to PSA and all that sort of stuff, and I was seeing PSA recommend, you have to use the Card Saver 1, right? They were very adamant that you should not use, right, the hard top loaders like these guys, or some of these other really tiny knockoffs, right, that are, if you can see here, a much smaller size, right? See that comparison? These are really tiny compared to the Card Savers, which are nice and big. In any case, PSA is like very adamant that you have to use the Card Saver 1. And I immediately was like, oh, okay, well, I guess Collector's Universe must own, you know, this company Card Saver 1, so it's all just sort of like a self-fulfilling sort of feedback loop, if you will, for revenue. Not true, actually. Apparently Card Saver 1 is not owned by Collector's Universe, which is kind of interesting. So, although it would stand to reason that that would be a good adjacency, sort of, for their business, because it's directly correlated, right? The more PSA submissions they have, the more revenue the Cardboard Gold company will have. So, I don't know, just an interesting thought that came to my mind when I first got started with all this. So another question folks would logically ask is there some kind of a quality difference between Card Saver 1 and the eBay subsidized cheap option? And I guess my honest answer is it's so marginal that it almost is non-existent with respect to the level of difference between this stuff. They look and feel, folks, honestly almost identical. And in fact, they're probably even built by the same contract manufacturer, I would imagine. They feel almost exactly the same. And honestly, folks, just touching these two right now, the eBay one actually feels a little sturdier, believe it or not, even though it costs like way less per unit. So when it comes to like size, you know, width and length and all that stuff, they are basically the exact same size. They're almost interchangeable, so that you could have a mixed and matched set of this stuff in a submission. I don't think that would be much of an issue at all for PSA. And honestly, it's almost an indistinguishable difference. When it comes to sort of ease of use, right, it's not rocket science when it comes to just popping this stuff in. Card Saver 1 is obviously easy to use. That's what collectors have been very used to for a long time. Basically, same drill here with the eBay subsidized option. Pretty easy to use, pretty low friction, right? Real easy to just pop your card in there and, you know, get it all ready to go out to PSA. So when it comes to quality, when it comes to the look and feel of all this stuff, they're honestly pretty indistinguishable, in my opinion. It's pretty much the same material. It's the same manufacturer probably that does a lot of this, or the same process. Okay, so we just talked a bit about how the eBay subsidized option for the Card Saver 1s are pretty much pretty good, right? They're pretty indistinguishable, they're pretty useful, pretty cheap. All around, it seems like a pretty smart option if you're somebody that does this at a very high degree of volume, right? If you're only going to submit a couple of cards to PSA, then you probably don't care what this stuff costs. But if you're somebody that submits several hundred cards, I should add, by the way, folks, that it is somewhat unclear exactly who it is that makes this. So it says at the bottom, Card Saver 1, right? And it's got sort of the branding there for Card Saver 1. And Card Saver 1, right? That's kind of like that is the official name of the Cardboard Gold product. So I think it's actually possible that Cardboard Gold makes these, and it's just eBay subsidizes them and puts the PSA brand on it, because these are actually PSA and eBay joint branded, as you could see there, which is kind of funny, right? PSA sponsored by eBay. So it's just kind of a very funny relationship there, and sort of unclear exactly who it is that's behind the manufacturing of this product, right? I have no idea. It's not clear from the label if it's like a third party that makes this, if it's Card Saver 1 Cardboard Gold, the company that makes this. Who knows? Not very clear from the label exactly who it is that makes this. For folks that are curious, just so you have some insight into what I like to use, I do typically use the Ultra Pro card sleeves. These are really cheap, the penny sleeves. These are almost always available. These guys here, the Card Saver ones, that's where you can get into trouble because those are not always available on the market, and you may have to use some of the alternatives sometimes. So I think, honestly, like, bottom line here, folks, is if you can still get your hands on these, I recommend that you pick up some of these if you're planning to do a lot of submissions in 2021, because these are really cheap relative to what the other ones cost, and they're honestly almost indistinguishable in terms of quality. And then if you have to, feel free to buy some of the more expensive stuff, but if you can get something that's cheap, that's just as good, why not buy the cheap one that's just as good, right? It's just logic. Okay, so I think that's about all here for this video, folks. I hope you enjoyed the content and this quick sort of rundown of some of these different options for the Card Saver 1 form factor. Please let me know in the comments, what sort of stuff do you use? What are your thoughts on this recent eBay subsidized offering in the market? What do you think that's going to mean for some of these other offerings? All that sort of stuff. Let me know in the comments. I'm still trying to wrap my head exactly around what they're doing with subsidizing these products. So it's very interesting news, in my opinion. And I think it does indicate that eBay is going to be waking up to the fact that they need to find ways to make this process a little bit more cost efficient for the people in the trading card market, because it is very expensive to submit cards to PSA. And anything that they can do to marginally increase the likelihood or the volume is going to dictate direct revenue for eBay when it comes to transactions. So that's all for the video, folks. Hope you enjoyed the content. Thanks again for watching. This is the Parkside Merchant channel, and we'll see you next time.